Hi there, welcome to Switch Mania. I am Clarence and today we'll talk about the best Nintendo Switch games on sale. We will be covering the UK, EU, US, Australia, and Canada eShop. But first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you want to see more of this series, please leave a like. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to receive future notifications. Likes and subscriptions help keep the channel alive. Just a quick reminder, 90% of you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you are enjoying the videos and not subscribed yet, why not? You're coming back anyways. With all that said, let's get back to the video. First on our list is Cyber Protocol. Even though the level layouts vary greatly, you can't help but feel like you're replaying the same level. There aren't many checkpoints in some of these levels, and it's easy to die, so it's not uncommon to have to repeat the same section several times before you get the timing and pattern right. However, that may be of interest to some, if not many. Pac-Man is one of the most addictive and popular games of all time, so even though Cyber Protocol isn't an exact copy, it's a good place to start if you're going to copy from anywhere. Cyber Protocol is one of the few indie games that can get so much mileage out of such a simple concept, and it's a lot of fun. Next is All-Star Fruit Racing. On Switch, All-Star Fruit Racing is still a good place to start. Its kart racing is enjoyable and simple to learn, proving that it is suitable for families. By the way, it still has flaws such as a forgettable roster and some technical issues, such as shadows and loading times, which is a shame because it hides the fact that it's a rediscovered portable game. It had a pleasant surprise for us. It has flaws, such as unpolished audio and a lack of online features, but it also has a lot of content to enjoy, good progression and unlocking systems, new elements in the oversteer and attack systems that, with a few exceptions, give it a distinct feel, and, most importantly, its visuals are unique. Next up, Shantae and the 7 Sirens. Shantae's less than perfect vacations demonstrate that sometimes getting away can help you rediscover yourself. The half-nude genie's appearance is now in high definition, and the subtle pen strokes make her appear even more gracious and naughty. Despite being more of a remake than a new game, WayForward focused on the series' fundamentals by creating a massive, complicated world made of trees. Our famous belly dancer's skills gradually revealed how deep she was, and her smooth changes demonstrated her versatility. And the extra abilities gained from the collectible monster cards improve Shantae and the 7 Sirens in the end, making it nearly impossible to say no. The best game in this charming series of 2D platformers is Shantae and the 7 Sirens. It's a lot of fun to explore and has a lot of cool abilities. Next is Ancestors Legacy. I'd love to see a Switch sequel to Ancestors Legacy. It lays the groundwork for a fantastic console real-time strategy game, but it falls short in a few key areas. The lack of multiplayer diminishes its long-term appeal, but the numerous single-player options compensate. The controls work well with a controller and do not cause many issues with unit control. I wish there were more options for unit production and strategy in the core design, but that hasn't stopped me from playing some fantastic games. Despite the fact that some of these issues are inherent in the game and others are exclusive to the Switch version, none of them prevented me from enjoying it. Ancestors Legacy isn't perfect, but it's the best real-time strategy game on Switch. Next up, Disney Classic Games, Aladdin and the Lion King. It's unusual to see a collection like Disney Classic Games, Aladdin and the Lion King from a field known for ignoring its history. After all, how often do we see Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Game Boy versions of the same game on the same cartridge? Even though it's a shame that Capcom's Aladdin isn't included, it's not a big deal in a package this comprehensive. Despite the fact that I can think of other Disney games that I'd like to see in a similar package, I'd like to see other companies do the same with classic games. This is a model that the entire video game industry should support. Disney Classic Games, Aladdin and the Lion King is the new gold standard for compilations. Next is CastleStorm. CastleStorm is a fun fighting game that combines the fun of Angry Birds and tower defense games. Finding a good balance of offense and defense is rewarding, especially when you complete your missions. The game is entertaining and humorous, which makes it even more enjoyable to play. Too many stages rely on the 2 basic ways to win, and I would have preferred more boss fights or more difficult objectives. Nonetheless, CastleStorm is enjoyable for all Switch owners, not just those who enjoy tower defense games. Swords, magic, and whimsy combine in this fun feudal take on the tower defense genre. CastleStorm is an excellent game for any Switch home screen because it has solid mechanics, makes excellent use of the Switch's unique features, and has plenty of content for both single and group players. Next up, Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain is a puzzle game in which you play fast-paced mini-games to improve your cognitive abilities in 5 different areas. You can compete with your friends or compare your abilities to those of others. Even though there aren't many features, the simple concept works because the game is cute and enjoyable to play. Even if the challenges appear simple, when you're trying to get the most points, every wrong answer feels tragic. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain didn't seem like it would pique my interest, but it has turned into a real competition in our house. These are the things you can most proudly boast about. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain is an excellent couch co-op game, even for a system with a plethora of them, such as the Nintendo Switch. It's an excellent addition to the library of anyone who enjoys playing games with their friends. Next is Islanders. Despite the fact that the core mechanic of Islanders Console Edition is that you can abandon your progress and the controls can be annoying at times, I've played it multiple times on Switch. It's a simple puzzle game that put me in a good mood and helped me focus on finding simple ways to achieve my own goals. I think it's great for quick pickup and play sessions and keeping on your Switch for later play. I wish the controls were a little better and that some of the buildings came with more instructions on where to place them, but for such a small package, it has a lot of content that kept me interested. If you were to send me to a deserted island and told me I could only bring one game, this would be one of them. Next up, Unruly Heroes. Unruly Heroes is a fantastic action game that will undoubtedly be one of the year's biggest surprises. In a better world, it would be much more than a sleeper. Regardless of whether it's well known, this is a well-crafted burst of action that comes in a surprising number of flavors. This game is not to be missed because it has beautiful graphics, fun combat and platforming, multiple ways to play, and a lot of charm, making it a great take on a classic legend. It truly is a story about how our heroes who didn't fit in rose to the top and did so in style. Unruly Heroes is a fantastic action platformer. It has all of the genre's best elements while avoiding many of its flaws. Because of its solid combat and unique design and mechanics, it's a game that's enjoyable for both experienced and new players. Next is Never Alone, Arctic Collection. Never Alone, Arctic Collection is a game that stands out visually, but it doesn't really stand out in terms of gameplay. It makes for an interesting and educational adventure when combined with the charming story of the Yupiat tribe. Never Alone is a light and enjoyable game that is ideal for those looking for a quick way to unwind and learn about a different culture. Never Alone, Arctic Collection includes the original Never Alone, which was released for the Wii U in 2015. As well as additional downloadable content. Despite the fact that some of the gameplay in this puzzle platformer feels sloppy and the mechanics are a little dated, Arctic Collection has a redeeming quality in how it shows and tells the player about the Yupiat people of Alaska and how it brings the barren Arctic landscapes to life in the game. Next up, GetsuFumaDen, Undying Moon. GetsuFumaDen is one of the most enjoyable roguelikes I've ever played because it's challenging, rewarding, beautiful, and authentic to its culture. It doesn't change or improve the formula mechanically, but it does a great job of simplifying it. At the same time, it provides a classic, vivid, and detailed look at Japanese art styles and the Hyaki-Yagi method of storytelling. There is no better place to begin learning more about either of these topics. GetsuFumaDen, Undying Moon is a classic roguelike game with beautiful art, but some balance issues that force the player to grind a lot in order to be competitive. Every day, something about it drew my attention. It's visually appealing and has a compelling story to tell. I enjoyed the art, the fighting, and the massive bosses. It's one of those games that will stay with you and bring you nothing but joy. Next is Pawarumi. Pawarumi is a good shoot-'em-up game that employs a previously used but novel mechanic. I discovered that figuring out how to handle all of its tasks was both fun and difficult, especially when it came to staying calm when things got tough. Add a few good boss fights, an online leaderboard, and music ranging from panpipes to rock, and you have yet another well-made arcade shoot-'em-up for the Nintendo Switch. Pawarumi is a two-dimensional shooter for the Nintendo Switch. The game is controlled by rock, paper, scissors, which is a fantastic feature that makes the game both enjoyable and challenging. Pawarumi, a 2D shooter for the Nintendo Switch, is full of personality and will appeal to fans of the genre. Next up, Iron Crypticle. Iron Crypticle has an intriguing power-up system based on constructing combo chains by picking up food dropped by enemies. It's not well explained, which can make it difficult to understand at first, but once you do, it's a lot of fun. The game moves slowly, especially on the first few floors, which aren't as difficult as later ones. However, branching paths, local co-op, varying degrees of difficulty, and even online leaderboards round out the package. TikiPod has done it again with Iron Crypticle, successfully resurrecting an old arcade concept and infusing it with new ideas. Iron Crypticle doesn't do much new or innovative with the twin-stick concept, but it does a great job of recreating the gameplay that made Smash TV so popular. If you enjoy twin-stick shooters or want another game for local co-op, Iron Crypticle is a great choice. The game is entertaining, can be played repeatedly, and looks nice. Next is A Fold Apart. A Fold Apart is a one-of-a-kind puzzle-solving experience, and the paper-folding brain teasers add to the fun. When you combine beautiful environments, bright colors, and an intriguing story, you get a game that is both fun to play and visually appealing. This could have been one of the best puzzle experiences in the first half of 2020 if the performance was good. Still, if you can get past the frame rate issues, A Fold Apart is a fun game to play. A Fold Apart makes the most of its distinguishing features to create a simple but engaging puzzle game. It has some flaws, such as a slow pace, but I enjoyed it overall. A Fold Apart is one of the most clever puzzle games available. Even though it is a brief adventure, you will remember it. Next up, Variable Barricade. Variable Barricade's love interests will be entertaining, surprising in the best ways, and a mix of fun and weird romance tropes. You can expect a well-rounded cast of love interests and other characters, as well as a main character who can change in interesting ways. And you can be sure that from start to finish, it will make you smile from ear to ear. With Variable Barricade, I discovered not only a cure for my resting bitch face syndrome, but also a game that I genuinely enjoy and will always hold a special place in my heart. Yes, Otome games have been around for a long time, but Variable Barricade stands out with its mix of heartwarming romance and hilarious comedy. Next is BQM BlockQuest Maker. BlockQuest Maker is an excellent alternative for anyone who wants to create their own difficult levels and share them with friends and strangers alike. Along with the useful online features, the small but powerful construction engine will provide us with plenty of time to play and enjoy ourselves. These are the people who will make BlockQuest Maker enjoyable to play, and developer Wonderland Kasakiri has done an excellent job of providing them with everything they need to create memorable chibi-sized adventures. Finally, BlockQuest Maker is a low-cost game creator that is a lot of fun. It allows you to use simple tools to create exciting action or complicated puzzles one level at a time. BQM may appeal to fans of Super Mario Maker who have wondered why there isn't a Legend of Zelda Maker. Next up, Hyper Sentinel. Hyper Sentinel is a great game for people who want to have fun on the weekend without spending too much money. It provides enough content and challenges for both casual and experienced gamers. This has a strong sense of passion to it, and it comes across as pure fun. The developers were able to create new versions of ideas that had been conceived decades before. This new shooter not only pays homage to its predecessor, but it also provides a fun, colorful, and difficult to put down experience. Despite the fact that Hyper Sentinel appears to be a simple shooter, it really takes the fun parts of any shoot 'em up and turns them into a fast, fun game. If you're not a fan of the genre, the mere prospect of shooting aliens may not be enough to keep you interested over time. However, both casual and serious shooter fans will find it challenging and enjoyable game. Next is the Red Lantern. The Red Lantern is a lovely game that can be both relaxing and frightening due to its more random mechanics. Watching that meter drop and feeling hope drop with it can feel like a punch in the gut at times, but eventually a rhythm is found, and relaxing around a campfire with a full belly, a warm fire, and cute furry friends more than compensates for those dips in happiness. The Red Lantern has the charm of a standalone game. Timberline Studio Incorporated's first game is excellent. It has a simple premise, a good choose-your-own adventure structure, 5 different dogs in the cast, and a lovely day and night cycle. Overall, the Red Lantern is worthwhile if you enjoy the outdoors, want to venture into the unknown, or simply want to pet some fluffy sled dogs. Next up, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition. Even with those minor technical issues, it's difficult to find fault with this collection. You can get 2 fantastic RPGs for the price of 1 full-priced game. Cyber Sleuth is without a doubt one of the best Digimon games and stories, and Hacker's Memory is a good game in its own right, albeit not as good as the base game. If you've always liked Digimon but haven't played either of these games, this is the best way to see what Digimon is like now. Digimon are fantastic RPGs that can be enjoyed by people who have never heard of them. Those who have already played them can go back and enjoy the changes made by Hacker's Memory to the original Cyber Sleuth. If future Digimon games learn from this series, I'm excited to see how they evolve even further. Next is Yurukill, the Calumniation games. Even though a murder mystery survival scenario isn't the most novel concept, Yurukill manages to turn it on its head to create one of the most unique visual novels. Even the shoot 'em up sections aren't too difficult because players can adjust the difficulty to make things as easy or difficult as they want. Every character is likable in some way, and the plot keeps you interested in each group and curious about how everything will turn out in the end. People's survival or struggle is determined by what they do and how they put the pieces together. Yurukill, the Calumniation games is a great game to play if you enjoy mystery, even if you don't want to fly around and shoot down enemies. Yurukill, the Calumniation games visual novel story and shoot 'em up gameplay make for an intriguing experience. Next is OlliOlli World. After playing the first 2 OlliOlli games, I was pleased with the results, but I wasn't begging for more. Then there's OlliOlli World, which surprises me because my time with it was not only enjoyable, but easily the most enjoyable I've had with the series thus far. Skating is still as difficult and enjoyable as it has always been, and the addition of a story, characters, and other elements only enhances the experience and world of OlliOlli. This skateboarding game will have you grabbing your board and preparing to shred. OlliOlli World, like its predecessors, is a 2D skateboarding game that is a lot of fun and keeps you going. OlliOlli World has fantastic level design, stunning graphics, and a fantastic soundtrack. Its levels encourage players to take risks and be creative, resulting in a game that looks great on both a TV screen and the Nintendo Switch screen. Next up, BioShock, the collection. The 3 BioShock games are still fantastic works of art. Even though the first game hasn't aged well, the second game never received the attention it deserved, and the third game is ultimately disappointing. They're all worth revisiting. The Switch port is smooth and clear, and it's an excellent way to play these games for the first time or revisit them. Is it worthwhile to purchase the BioShock collection for Nintendo Switch? I would strongly advise you to go ahead with it. The hybrid console is an excellent way to play any of these games, even if you haven't done so before, and the quality of the port should pique the interest of both new and old players. The games have amazing stories, really unique settings, and memorable characters and locations. Next is Sid Meier's Civilization 6. The Switch version is simply the original game, which is perfectly fine. There's a lot to explore, providing hours of unique experiences and a great soundtrack to get you in the mood for building countries. Even if you've already spent hours on the PC version, Civ 6 is a fantastic game. Because you can use both touchscreen controls and physical buttons, this is one of the best ways to play Civilization 6. It's also the best way to play on the go because it's portable. This book should be read by anyone who wants to build a country or take over the world. I'm already convinced that this will be the Switch game I play the most. You will lose track of time and want to play nothing else once you start playing Civilization. Next up, Borderlands Legendary Collection. Borderlands, the Legendary Collection looks and performs exceptionally well on Nintendo Switch. It allows us to complete all of the stories in this wonderful collection. What else do we require in addition to jokes, guns, blood, explosions, and a robot? Perhaps the entire game could fit on a single cartridge. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, brings a lot of looter-shooter action to the Nintendo Switch. It will provide you with hours of co-op grinding as you blast your way through various alien creatures and other shenanigans. The game retains all of its original charm and humor, and it runs flawlessly. All of the original DLC is also included, so you'll never be bored. I enjoyed the Borderlands series more than I anticipated. You can play the first 3 Borderlands games for over 200 hours with this Legendary Collection. The Borderlands Legendary Collection for Nintendo Switch is an excellent choice for fans of first-person shooters. Next is The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is a good game that works well on the Nintendo Switch. The story remains the same, as does the dark humor. Despite the fact that the Joy-Cons aren't the best way to play a first-person shooter, the game works well in handheld mode. There are pop-ups and slow load times in the game, but they aren't too bad. Overall, it's a good package, particularly for people who want to play games on the go. If you intend to spend the majority of your time playing while docked, you should consider one of the other platforms. On Switch, both graphics and performance are clearly inferior. If you can get past that, The Outer Worlds has fantastic characters, intriguing side quests, and a lot of player freedom. All of these features are still available on the Nintendo Switch. Anyone who enjoys RPGs should play it. The Outer Worlds on Switch is pure role-playing on the go. For the cost of some low-resolution textures, you can transport an entire galaxy wherever you want. Next up, WWE 2K Battlegrounds. WWE 2K Battlegrounds stands out due to its simplicity. It's like a video game version of a popcorn movie. This is something silly, simple, and inexpensive that is probably meant to be enjoyed in short bursts. Both the campaign and the Battleground Challenge are divided into small, easy-to-understand sections. Most games last no more than 5 minutes. Because of the way things work, everything is simple and quick, and everyone is on the same level. It's not particularly deep, the characters don't always look great, and there are a lot of price tags, but it's surprisingly entertaining. Even more so if you only want to play for a few minutes and want to play a silly wrestling game that anyone can enjoy. This WWE 2K Battlegrounds game for the Nintendo Switch captures the show's concepts perfectly. We don't watch WWE matches for the realism. We look for spectacular, amazing, gross, ridiculous, and hilarious moments. People who make us fall in love with each other all over again. Next is XCOM 2 Collection. Despite the fact that this Switch port changes XCOM 2, it makes a lot of changes that could could make or break the experience for new players. XCOM 2's controls and overall gameplay are as good as they've ever been with this port. These are two of the primary reasons it works so well, both docked and handheld. You could argue that the Nintendo Switch is the best way to play the XCOM 2 collection if you don't mind muddy graphics and slow frame rates when switching between scenes. The ability to play XCOM 2 from any location is a huge plus. Because of 2K, the deep strategy game from Firaxis Games and Feral Interactive has changed in another way. I'm looking forward to seeing where the series goes from here. The Switch version of the world's best turn-based strategy game is mostly the same, ready to entertain and irritate fans once more, but this time on the go. Next up, PGA Tour 2K21. PGA Tour 2K21 has everything a golf fan could want in a game. Golf is a game that can be both relaxing and frustrating, and it is perfectly recreated here. This year's game goes even further with the 2K style and the addition of real players and even more real courses. If you like golf, you'll enjoy this, and even if you don't, you can now play HB Studios Golfing Mastery. Because I'm unlikely to be able to play most of these courses in real life, I appreciate the ability to visit them in video games. Despite its name, this title has a lot to offer, from driving off the tee to reading the green, and everything in between. If you enjoy golf simulation games, don't let a few minor glitches deter you from playing PGA Tour 2K21 on the Nintendo Switch. With enough practice, even a real-life loser like me can get his fair share of eagles. And last, but not the least, Tales from the Borderlands. Tales from the Borderlands is a game that shows how much time has passed since it was released, but the unique blend of a point-and-click adventure and a looter-shooter still has an undeniable charm. Tales from the Borderlands is a graphic adventure that, despite its flaws, is recommended for fans of the genre and of Borderlands, with the hope that a second season will be released sooner rather than later. This is due to the high-quality writing and the ability to combine so many different game worlds in a straightforward manner. Everything you remember about Tales from the Borderlands is true. The characters are believable, and the plot is compelling enough to keep you reading until the end. This port could have benefited from a few updates or even just keeping the choice summaries, but at the end of the day, it's a game I'll keep playing for years to come. That's all guys. I hope this video was helpful in deciding which game to play, and thank you for checking out the list. Please remember to subscribe and we'll see you at the next one.